See that ribbon? That's how the wind is. It's shit. Well, here I am. And it's blowing. Really, really wicked wind. It's just blowing all over the place. 1 minute it's blowing, next minute it's not. Changes direction. Some of the groups that I'm shooting with the CZ MTR, like some of them are really tiny, and then they just blow out. And it's not the ammunition, it's not the gun, it's the wind. So today's probably one of the worst days for trying to shoot rimfire accurately. It's not going well, but I'm figuring out what ammunition it can cope with and what ammunition it prefers and what kind of chamber it's got. It doesn't have an airly chamber, I can tell you that, because that is like super tight chambering them. Lapua chamber's a lot easier and it's just as accurate as Center X, which surprises me because Center X, when I light tested it, it was just all over the place. A real surprise is the RWS target rifle. That's half the price of Lapua and Ely, and it's just as accurate. So whether that's just the rifle or whether it does prefer RWS, and RWS is actually the easiest one to chamber. It's not loose, but it's not as stiff as Lapua or ridiculously stiff as the Ely. So I'm just going to try some SK magazine that I've had for quite a while that I sorted. So see how we go with that. Still people put the targets out, and we're going to wait for them. Anyway, I'll report back to you later. Hello again. As you'll see in that little bit of intro that I took with my phone, I took that footage on in a very small available window because, as per usual, that range was packed. It was really, really busy. So as soon as the guy shooting to my, was it a guy? Yeah. The individual shooting to my right disappeared, I set my phone up on a little mini phone tripod and took that footage. And you can see in that, man, the wind was just atrocious, like one of the windiest days. The day, it's always, man, you know, I don't know, curse of the rimfire gods or something, because as soon as I took this, or as soon as I placed this on the firing line, boof, up blew the wind. But anyway, you can see how windy it was, you really can. So some of the groups that I shot with this, considering that wind, because it wasn't it's not a constant wind, you know. I've experienced constant wind where you just got this gale that just blows at, I don't know, 25 kilometers an hour, 25 miles per hour, yeah, and I've experienced it. But this is different. It's blustery, it circles around because it's a bit of a valley, and 1 minute it's blowing and then it'll actually change direction, and it's a real nightmare. So I'm going to have a good time learning about, wind hold off. But first of all, I'm going to talk about this thing. So this is my Martini Enfield with the short magazine Lee Enfield #1 Mark III barrel. I'm assuming it's a #1 Mark III barrel. So what I did was I had 5 rounds left of, it's not really a hot load, but it was 41 grains of AR 2208, which is Varmint, which was the hottest. So last time I shot it, I left. What I wanted to do, the reason why I shot them this time is because I had that barrel. I started off with a cold barrel with the lighter loads, and they were the better groups. So I thought, I just want to make sure that it's not a hot barrel, because one of the problems with these SMLE barrels is they are pencil barrels, And once you take them out of their natural environment, which is the stock setup that the number ones and the number threes or number fours had, the barrel tends to whip around a fair bit. This is what I'm told, and it seems to be the case, because there's I can't remember what his name is. There's a gent who has a YouTube channel about accurizing your Lee Enfield, and man, he's got 13 steps. I mean, this guy really knows what he's doing. He's clearly a Lee Enfield expert, like serious expert. He had got 13 steps to ensure that you get the best accuracy. Now, that's a lot of farting around, alright? This is one of the reasons why I'm not the biggest fan of Lee Enfields, is because once you hit someone in the head with the buttstock, or stick a bayonet in someone, or drop it, it's highly likely that your accuracy will suffer. They are that delicate, you know, like really. So, I know, people are going to say, no, Blake and the Ranger, or whatever. But it's true, right? If you follow those 13 steps that, I can't remember what his name is, indicates, he's obviously a gunsmith, man, that's a lot of mucking around, alright? Whereas, you know, with the good old Mauser, you just chuck it in the stock, tighten those screws and shoot away. So anyway, enough of that rant. So that was the 41 grains. It was, the first one was actually down there. Sorry, it's upside down. It was down there, and then I had 4 up there. So yeah, went all over the place. Then I've got this load. It's 150 grain spear hot cores with 40.8 grains of AR2209, which is hydrogen 4350. That's a load that I had set up for my other Martini, Enfield. Yeah, I don't think that's any good, because that wasn't any good either. So then that one's a fair bit better, but still you're talking about, you know, 3 inches. So no, I'm gonna have to go lighter. I wanted to try that load out before I went. What was I going to do? I was going to go 35, 36, 37 grains of Varmint. But I hadn't tried AR2209 hydrogen 4350, so I thought, well, I'll give it a whirl anyway, because I've still got, today's Friday, so the range is open Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Saturday, Sunday, they have comps, and I don't like going there Saturday and Sunday because they do have comps, and those comp guys just drag their asses. Seriously, I think they deliberately. They probably don't, but when you're there, you get the impression these guys are dragging their asses just to piss off the casual shooters, because, you know, they're the elite, they're the comp people. Which is funny because I'm thinking about shooting competition with this thing in silhouette. I don't know, maybe even bench rest. I don't know. Probably not bench rest. Silhouette, yeah. So anyway, I've got to go lighter with this thing. 35, 36, 37. 37 was a pretty good group. I think probably 36 will be the best group. So anyway, enough of that thing. Operates great. Let's see. One thing to note is that with the all of the powder weights of the Varmint loads for that Martini Enfield, the primers were poking out a fair way, whereas with this AR2209 hydrogen 4350, like only 1 or 2 of them have started to poke out. They're pretty flat, so that tells me that the AR2209, the slower burning powder, may be the way to go. So I might make up some really light loads of that. I think that's what I'll do, because the Varmint, it burnt so fast, it was pushing the primers out, because the headspace on that thing is 20 thousandths or something. I don't know if it's that bad, but it's pretty bad. I'm having a rumbo, sorry. I was never a big fan of rum and cola, but I've been living up here in North Queensland for 17 years now, so when in Rome, cheers. It is overproof rum, I think it's 8%, this, because I don't like a lot of cola, Coke. It's not Coke, sorry. Anyway, to the MTR. Now, first of all, because I've got the 17 HMR CZ457, that means I've got 2 bolts, and the bolt that came with this one, taking it all off. The bolt that came with this one is take the chamber flag out. That's a good idea. Is it's okay. It's not rough. Once you remove that laser cutting, the burrs off the laser cutting, it's not too bad. That bolt is pretty good, but this bolt from the 17 HMR is butter. Like really, it's butter. Yeah, so I did try both bolts just to see if there was any difference in accuracy, and there isn't. So clearly, pardon me, the bolts are exactly the same. So I don't know if it's legal or not, but I'm using my 17 HMR bolt in the MTR because it is smoother. Even still, when you do cycle it, like, yeah, you go off target. You do go, and that's only at 50 metres, 55 yards. You just go totally off target. So it is a big pain. But anyway, I'll get rid of this thing so we can see what we're doing. So I tested. How many different types of ammo did I tested about 6 different types, but I'm not going to show you all the results from all of them because some of them are pretty crap. Like SK magazine, I'm not going to show you. Well, actually I am. I'll show you the shittest first. So there's something that I can use as a background. I'll just be back in a sec. Alright, I'm back. So before I do that, I'll just say that it functioned excellent. Not a problem at all. We're only allowed to load 5 rounds at a time at the Sporting Shooters of Australia ranges, SSA ranges, which is both of the ranges that I go to are SSAA ranges. But I use 10 round mags because it's just a lot easier. With a 5 round mag, you're really squeezing that fifth one in. But yeah, it's yeah, what can I say? Do I still hate the stock? Yes. In a word, I still think it's ugly, but I don't think I'm going to replace it because this is pillared. So SK magazine. Now, I had shot about probably, I don't know, 150 rounds through this thing before I shot the SK magazine. So it's not a case of the barrel not being fouled up or leaded up enough or anything like that. The SK magazine was just shit through this gun, which is really weird because I'll show you the results of the SK pistol match special last. So SK magazine, it does not like it at all. These are all at 50 metres. The best group was 0.8 of an inch at 50 metres. It just did, yeah. For whatever reason, it just doesn't like SK magazine. Now, I have to apologise, and the reason why I'm apologising is because you know what? I took a cleaning rod with the correct 22 colour barb, and then I forgot to take patches. I had them out I selected 2 patches that I was going to take, size patches I was going to take, and then I forgot them. So I did not clean between these different types of ammo. So typically the first group that you see is shit, because in the past I sort of considered this, oh no, you have to season your barrel with that ammo because of the particular lube that it employs. I always thought that was a bit of bullshit. It's not. It's true, and you'll see. So I'll show you. I started with RWS target rifle. That's what I started with, which is that stuff. Now this has been sorted by weight and rim thickness, and got some really small groups out of it. So that was the first group, which is just huge, because that was the first rounds through it, so not surprising. The second group, 0.42 of an inch. Pretty good. You got to remember, just rack your memory, wrap your brain around just how windy it is. So even considering that wind and how just fickle it was, 0.42 of an inch, 0.54 of an inch, 0.65 of an inch, 0.38 of an inch. So RWS target rifle, it likes. SK magazine, no. Okay, I did try Federal Premium match, gold medal match. It was okay. I can't even remember which groups I'm looking at that were it, because they were okay. Nothing special though. Right, so then, actually I didn't shoot Lapua. So then, I shot Ely match, which is the perennial favourite of mine. Ely match, love the stuff. So the first group, so I haven't cleaned it, I haven't wiped out the old RWS lube. Even still, it was not a shocking group. I had 2 there and then 3 shots that were like, how big is that? Yeah, it's sort of, those, that's amazing. 3 shots, they're literally a clover leaf of 0.15. But those 2 were first, and then it went over here. It was a bit weird. Then, this group, the second group, all up was 0.57, which is not too bad, but 4 were within 0.23. I know why this, because the Ely was, I lot tested as well, rim thickness and weight. I know why this happened. It was the wind. Alright, it was just, it was shocking. Same as this one. The whole group is 1.2, but the other 4 are at 0.51. Then I think the wind just really blew it about, and 0.92. And then from memory, the wind really sort of died down, and I got 0.38, 0.39. Yeah, very small groups. Just crazy wind. Then these are Ely groups as well. 0.52, 0.4. Disregard that one. That one went off the page. 0.52. Yeah, really small groups. Then I shot Lapua Center X, and so I hadn't, like I said, I hadn't cleaned the barrel from the previous lube, so it did go to about, I don't know, 1.5 inches or something like that. But the next group was 0.54. Then it sort of strung out diagonally to 1, probably the wind. 0.67, 0.58, 0.85, which, yeah, was nothing to write home about. But then I did some really good groups with it, which is, again, it's probably the wind. 0.52. That one's pretty small as well. Why didn't I put that one there? 0.64, 0.34, 0.63, 0.63 again, but 0.34 for 4 of them. So the Lapua Center X, the Ely match and the Lapua Center X, it's a toss-up. Okay, it really is a toss-up. Okay, this rifle just likes match ammo, full stop. So the RWS target rifle was probably, because that's cheap stuff. Like, RWS target rifle is SK Magazine's junk. RWS target rifle is just really cheap, and to be getting groups of 0.42, 0.38, man, I was really impressed with that. But at the end of the day, literally at the end of the day, because what happened was and I'm talking about this SK pistol match special. Okay, so this is some of the last stuff that I shot. But after I shot it, I was so amazed by that I thought, hang on a minute, has this barrel been fouled up that much that is that why these groups are so tiny? So I shot the Ely again. Alright, so these two, where are they? So these two were shot, yeah. Drop my shit. So some of these Ely groups, right, were shot after I shot this, because I really wanted to check, is it just the fouling issue that's tightening these groups up, or is this SK pistol match special just mind-bogglingly, unbelievably accurate? And the conclusion that I came up with is that SK pistol match special is mind-bogglingly, unbelievably accurate, because this rifle loves it. I don't know whether it's just this rifle, but it was the Lapua and the SK. SK is Lapua. SK is supposed to be B-grade Lapua. My understanding is that when the tooling wears to a certain degree, or after so many rounds that they produce with that tooling, the Lapua tooling, the Lapua Center X and Lapua Exact and whatever, they send it to SK, and then SK uses that tooling. That's what I'm led to believe. So in theory, SK is B-grade Lapua. Well, this B-grade Lapua, right, SK pistol match special, outperformed the Lapua Center X, like, astoundingly. And I'll show you. I was, you know, and the thing is that the Ely, the Lapua Center X, and the RWS target rifle were all sorted by weight and rim thickness, okay? And yet, I had this because this is the original box. This box, which I've shot all, was not, I didn't sort it in any way, shape or form. Or did I? I can't remember now. We'll be back in a sec. Okay, back. I did actually sort this box, but it was all over the place. There was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It was 12 different weights. So I was weighing to 1,000th of a gram. So there's 12 different weights. So it was all over the place. Nothing to write home about as far as the sorting numbers are concerned. Sorry, another drinky. But this is what it did. So the first group, just measure that. The first group, without cleaning the barrel at all, I had two that were very, very close to the bull, and then three that went to the right, and those three, 0.18. So I watched those two first, and I went, yeah, whatever. And then I watched those three, literally a clover leaf, and I went, hey, hang on a minute. Then the second group was 0.57 all up, but that flyer pushed it out to 0.57. Without that flyer, the other 4 rounds were within 0.23. So the wind, I have absolutely no doubt the wind really knocked things about. Then the third group sort of got worse. One big fly that put it out to 1.2, but the other 4 within were 0.51. Then the fourth group sort of is probably wind again. I mean, I couldn't. It was so blustery, and it was so uneven, and it'd switch and whatnot that it was just impossible to. I would have been there for a week trying to pick the opportune moments to shoot because it was just horrible. So the fourth group was 0.92, and I thought, alright, it's blowing out. It's shit. Then the fifth group was 0.38, and the sixth group was 0.39. And I've got 3 rounds. It's just tiny little groups. Let me tell you, if it was a still day, this thing would have been printing 1/4 of an inch all day long with this stuff, SK Pistol Match Special. Now, I went to one, so there's 2 gun stores that I get most of my ammunition from. One of them is Hall's Firearms. And I said, do you have any SK Pistol Match Special? And they went, no. Oh, okay. Any idea when you're going to get it? No. And there's 130,000 rounds on order. So, there's a deficit of 130,000 rounds in Australia. Okay. So I went to the other gun shop that I go to, which is Townsville Gun Shop. And I said, which is where I got this box, and I said, do you have any SK Pistol Match Special? And he said, how much do you want? And I said, I want a brick. And he went and had a look, and he said, well, I haven't got a brick. All I've got is what's on the shelf, which was more than a brick, which was 16 boxes. So I said, I want it all, which he gave to me, sold to me. Now, I was hoping that they would all be this same batch. They're not. Half of them, so 8 boxes are this batch. Pardon me. And 8 boxes are a previous batch. I'm hoping, okay, that other batch is just as good as this batch, because man, there is some serious potential. And the nice thing about the SK Pistol Match is that it continually grouped in this. I did muck around with the scope settings, because it grouped in exactly the same, pretty much in exactly the same spot. Because I actually started from there. It was very consistent where it grouped. Something that not all the ammos did. They did sort of wander around, strangely enough. Whether that was the wind, because more than likely it was the wind, because like I said, it was horrible. But so this does not like Ely. When I say it doesn't like Ely, it shoots it very accurately, but chambering it was like, it was an effort. So what it tells me is that this chamber is cut for Lapua, because the Center X was a lot easier to chamber. The RWS target rifle was easier to chamber than the Lapua Center X. The SK pistol match special was about in the middle, about like Lapua, because it is Lapua. So like it is still quite tight, but when you're trying to chamber that Ely match, ooh, I tell you, yeah, you're really forcing some of them. Like I was really forcing some of them. But the trigger's great. I still would like to get the Timney trigger and have it, just a handful of ounces, because at the moment it's just over a pound, which is okay, but when you're trying to shoot, really accurate, target, you want it less than that. So that's about it. What I'll do is I'll load up some lighter loads for this thing and test that out again, and then hopefully it won't be as windy, and I'll go test more of this, because this is, or I'll test, I don't know, definitely when there's less wind I'll test the 4 big ones: Ely Match Center X, Lapua Center X, RWS target rifle, SK pistol match special. I really was surprised by the SK pistol match special, because this is like $10 a box, or $8-10 a box less than the others, than the Ely and the Lapua Center X. So considering that price difference and how well it performed, it's quite a shock. So I prattled on enough. What do I think of the CZ Varmint MTR? It's excellent. If you can get one, get it. You will not be disappointed. I do have a shaft collet, which is essentially a barrel weight tuner. I did give that a whirl. It didn't really do much, although wrong conditions to test it. But hopefully when I go there next time, which is, I'm hoping, like if I'll have a look at the forecast, see what the winds are showing. If the winds are going to be mild or very slow, whether it's tomorrow, Sunday or Monday, I'll definitely go. Whichever day is just, not because I don't want to have to deal with the wind, but because it's very hard to test the accuracy potential of these different types of ammunition when it is such a fickle wind. Like it was really blustery, and it was blowing all over the place and then circling around, switching direction, and generally it was going from left to right most of the time, like probably 90% of the time. But now and then you'd see that, I had a orange ribbon, you'd see it like horizontal going from left to right, and then all of a sudden it'd go limp and then go the other way, and you were going like, oh, what the hell. So anyway, I'll check all that out, and I'll go to the range again, test it all out again, and hopefully have more definitive results. I mean, this does tell me a lot, in particular about what kind of chamber is cut into this thing, and it's definitely a Lapua chamber. It's not an Ely chamber, which I'm sort of disappointed with. Hey, it is what it is. So maybe down the track, if I chuck an IBI barrel on it, but then I don't even know what, and I don't even know if they'd tell you. Really. Yeah. to leave it as it is or get another stock somewhere down the track, probably. Whatever. So anyway, we've talked enough. See you later.